Income, he could be an alcoholic. But mostly among the labor class, we have more alcoholic people, and they drink the country liquor, the cheap liquor, and unfortunately, then they develop problem with the liver, and they can't get treated, and they die. Now, it's not a very big problem with the youngsters in India at the moment. So the youngsters do drink, but it's not that it's a serious issue. As a car, as a diesel gen set, and a motor to run the water. See it once again. Now it will be on your left. For water from the well. No license plate. Locally made. They just fix the bolt, and they run this engine.
But it's legal?
Yeah, illegal vehicle. It's not a legal vehicle. And for electricity also they use the same engine. Yes.
Whoa, that was fast.
Now we're having to take it away. Take it somewhere else. Right?
Let me get it. Yeah.
They get a house up here. They come to you now.
Oh my guys, I'm back.
And we have a Silicon Valley in Bangalore. We call it Bangalore now. You know, the names have been changed because these were the original name, and politicians changed these names. So this is a town called Bharatpur, and this is the place where we're going to have lunch. So the place we're going for lunch is an old palace. He was the relative of the Maharaja of Jaipur, and he was given the task to collect the revenue. So he was the tax collector, that is the great grandfather. And then he converted this residence into a hotel, and he's blended with the new part now. So we're going to have lunch there in the palace of the tax collector. In those days, not now. He doesn't collect tax now, so he's a hotelier now. And Bharatpur is also very famous for the bird sanctuary. There's a famous bird sanctuary, and during winter we have cranes coming from Siberia to Bharatpur. Laxmi is a goddess of wealth. Vilas means residence, palace. So right in the front, what you see, this is the old part. Okay? And then he has blended it with the new one on the left hand side where we're going to have lunch. So there are rooms here, people come and stay. Those who come to watch the birds, for bird watching.
One bottle of water.
They have the best cats. Artie, could you work 2 hours so they can get a hat?
हमारा ऑफिस पूरा बढ़िया ठीक
grab it, sir. I'm coming. Come on, Alden. Hey. Hey, Alden. Hey. Hey. Way to do. What is it? Do? Oi! Are you going to Hey! 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 I'm right out here. Hey! Hey! Hey!
But before we go inside, I'd like to explain you about this gate. Now we have entered from the western gate. There is an eastern gate and there is a northern gate. Sorry, southern gate. Now this main gate was for the drummers and the musicians. So if the king, because this has been a tourist attraction for more than 350 years, even the Mughal kings, later Mughal kings would come here, the wonder of the world. So they would have the drummers. If there would be a king coming, they would play it 4 times, the queen 3 times, the princess 2 times, prince 1 time, and so on. so everybody would know. As we entered, you see there a high wall like a fort. This was for the security reason. And what you see here, these were all the horse stables all around to park their horses. Now, 1631, they started the construction, and 1653 they completed. So 22 years it took to complete the Taj Mahal. So if you see the small domes in the arch, 11 are here and 11 inside. You see the small ones? They're in a row. 11 in this side, 11 on the other side. Now what you see on the arch, please have a look at the arch. Now the square thing, that is the calligraphy from the 89th chapter of Quran. The white marble, they have done the inlay work in black onyx, with the black onyx. And the flowers, do you all see the flowers? Now this is all inlay work, this is not painting, but it was all done in the ground. So they drew the graph, they took the chisel and hammer, made the grooves, they put a glue and put these stones after shaping them, and they rub it with a stone called agate. And that is how they get this beautiful work. You will see more detail inside the Taj Mahal. Now we will be going inside from this gate. As we go inside, my request is, please give me 10 minutes to explain, and then more than 1 hour will be your free time. We will have a group photo after I give my explanation.
इसमें क्या छोड़ना है, इसी में मुकरा है अब in the flight of
Right now we are inside the Taj Mahal. Now the story starts from a very young prince whose name was Prince Khurram. And we are talking 17th century. Now this king was already married when he was a young prince, and when he came out to the market in Agra, he happened to see this beautiful woman. Her name was Anjuman Bano Begum, and this was the love at first sight. Now she was not from the royal family, royal blood, so the parents did not agree for the marriage, and he then revolted against his father, and he went to the city of Udaipur, and he took asylum with the king there for 6 months, and eventually his parents agreed. He came back, he divorced his first wife and got married to this beautiful young princess. And later on, when he became the king, he was given the title Shah Jahan. So Khurram became Shah Jahan, which means the emperor of the universe. So Anjuman Bano Begum and Khurram were in deep love, and she always accompanied him, whether he went on inspection, whether he went on a war. And in 18 years of their married life, they had 14 children. So the 14th child, which is a female child, she was the cause of death of this queen. Now, out of these, only 7 survived, 7 children, and later on, the 3rd son, he assassinated his 2 elder brothers to get the throne. Anyway, Shah Jahan, when he heard the news that his wife has died, he was in south of India. He was in deep shock. He could not believe, and he came to a place called Bharatpur, where she was buried temporarily, which is about 100 miles east from Agra. He then came immediately back to his palace, the Agra Fort, which you're going to see tomorrow, and he locked himself for almost 6 months. When he came out, he had long beard, grey hair. He was a very sad and a worried man. So his noble was worried that maybe the enemies are going to attack. So they reminded him that, look, sir, once you had promised your wife, if she dies before you, you will make a memory of love for her. And he got the inspiration from the tomb we saw in Delhi and one of his grandmother's tomb in Agra. But his imagination was big. So he also invited the engineers from Persia. And this is the only Mughal tomb which is made right at the edge. All the other Mughal tombs are in the center of the garden. And then there are gardens on all sides. If you see, the reason is he could visualize the scale of Taj Mahal. From the river side, it's almost 80 meters, taller than the Qutub Minar we saw. From the river side, not from here. There's a river behind. So he could imagine that the sky should be the background. No buildings, no trees. So you can see he made it right at the edge. Now this marble comes from the quarries of Makrana, which is 230 miles away from Agra. You can imagine the mode of transportation: bullock carts, camel carts, elephants. No steel was used here, but they had the chain and pulley system. They had to build a ramp which was almost half a mile, and they would put the mud, and that's how they slowly climbed up and completed the dome and the entire structure with marble. But piece by piece, everything was carved. For example, if you see the piece here on this arch, this was first carved on the ground. They chiseled it with hammer and chisel. They made the grooves. Then they took the stone with the emery powder wheel. They shaped the stone, and then they inlaid with a glue, and they rub it with the agate stone, and that is what you get. So these are some semi-precious stones. When you go inside the Taj Mahal, you will see semi-precious as well as precious stone. Lovely floral design on the outer wall. Now if you see very carefully the minaret, can you see the tall towers on four sides? The tower which are in the rear, they are inside, and the tower which are in the front, they are towards outside. Do you notice that? Now this is just an optic illusion. Like if you see a railway line in a straight line, at one point they meet, but the track is never meeting. Similarly, because they are tilting outward, so if there would be a natural calamity, they will not fall on the main dome. The top pinnacle, which is now brass, was originally of gold. The gold has been taken away by the British. There were huge diamonds all around the arch. All the diamonds are in Tower of London now. No diamonds here. And again, the 89th chapter of Quran, which has been written on the main arch. Then there was a water tank down below. The platform there, where you see the number of people, is of red sandstone and only been faced by white marble. The rest of the structure is all white marble, what you see there. Then to balance the building, on your extreme left, there is a mosque here. Do you see the mosque? On the extreme left. Do you all see the mosque? And then they made a similar building on the right hand side to give the balance. But that is not a mosque because you're facing towards east. In India, you're in a different hemisphere. You need to face toward the west to face Mecca. So one is mosque, the other is called the guest house. Otherwise, they both are identical. Then for the foundation, they laid down 60 big wells, and they put the bamboo scaffolding and they put the concrete inside before they did the foundation. So the river was touching the wall of Taj Mahal, and the platform has a slope so that if there would be heavy rain, the water would go back in the river. Now Shah Jahan during his lifetime had a dream to make another Taj Mahal across the river in black onyx. There would have been two Taj Mahal in Agra, one in white, one in black. And that is the reason why his third son deposed him inside the fort, because it was a very, very expensive project. He wanted to expand his military power, the son, and he was already 40-year-old. So he could see that his father is not giving up. He was in deep love with the mother, and he was planning something for himself, which would have costed a lot of money. So he kept him as a prisoner inside the fort. So later on, when the king died, he is also buried there. So that is the only defect in this building. When you will go right on the top, below the arch, there is a small door from here. It's a big door. Can you see the door? Below the arch. When you go inside, you are going to see two graves. One is big, one is small. One is right in the center, the small one. That is the grave of the lady. And that is how the Taj Mahal was built for. But later on, his son buried the father next to the wife. Now the graves, what we see on the top, they are identically on top of the real ones. The real ones are 2 layers below. For the sanctity reason, they don't allow the tourists to go down there. But these graves are decorated with precious stones like jasper, malachite, black onyx, cat's eye, and so on. So you will see those detailed work which has been shown there. But unfortunately, when you go inside the room, there is no light. They don't put a light for the religious purpose because they have writing of Qurans and all over the place. 10 years back, as a guide, I could go inside and I could show you the wall with a torch. But now, no more. We are not allowed to do that. And it's too crowded for me to go up there and tell you. So you will have to be on your own and see that and observe. When you go behind the Taj Mahal, in a distance, you're going to see the fort. So tomorrow when we go to the fort, you will see the Taj Mahal from there. Okay? Now, right in the center, there is another fountain from the same time. And all these fountains worked in those days with the principle of gravity. Now they work with the motor, but only sometimes.
Em phải cẩn trọng với cô bay lên. I'm working here then going to college. Oh, nice. That's beauty. When it's done there, I take it.
Same thing I'm doing.
Just another tourist.
Oh yeah, right, exactly. Good way to look at it.
Hello. Yeah, look there. Hello. 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 Hello.
That's a hump, huh? Is that a hump?
Why aren't you back there so I can stop, Mo, stop.
Alright, so ladies and gentlemen, tomorrow would be the last day at the station when you see these two guys. Our assistant, Mr. Durga Prasad, and our driver, Mr. Shyam. So you see them when they drop us at the railway station tomorrow. The question was whether they take only Indian. No, they take American. In fact, everybody is very happy to take your American dollars. So no worries. So the agenda for the day is right now we are going to see the inlay work of marble, and you're going to see a short film. And these are the same quarries from where the marble of Taj has come, which is more than 200 miles away from Agra. After this, we go to the fort. We will see the fort in section. It is all in ruins, but it's a very interesting fort, and you love the history of this great Mughal empire. So the Mughals, they started ruling from this fort in Agra. Thereafter, we will be going for lunch. Now, today lunch is in a local restaurant, and you are very lovely people. So today, 2 glasses of wine or soda on me. Thank you. Red wine, white wine, or any kind of soda. Okay.
Agra.
1, 2, 3.
Yesterday, where were we? Jaipur. World. Must be.
Trece perед nami. गिर जाता है और हम भी
All right, so ladies and gentlemen, right now we are inside the Red Fort of Agra. Now, this fort was started in the 16th century. 1526, when the Mughal came, there was another Muslim dynasty. They were called Lodhis, Lodhi. They were ruling here. So the first Mughal emperor, whose name was Babur, he came with a very superior gunpowder artillery, and they had a battle 100 kilometers north from Delhi, a place called Panipat. And this guy had a very big army. He was overconfident, but he did not realize the power of the gun, and he was very badly defeated. So Babur came to Agra, but he rested in the camp, because this fort was not as big as you see today. It was a small section of a palace of the Lodhi king. And when he rested in the camps, he wanted to establish his empire in India. And he told his journals that this is the country where we are going to have our future. And that's what exactly the Mughals did. They were defeated in their own country, near Afghanistan. They were not successful there, but they laid down the foundation stone of a great empire. Later on, when he went back to Pakistan, in Lahore, that is where he died, and he is buried in Lahore, city which is in Pakistan. His son, Humayun, was again thrown out of power for 14 years. He took asylum with the Shah of Iran, and when he came back, he died coming down from the steps. We saw his tomb in Delhi. The third Mughal king was an emperor at the age of 14. His name was Akbar. We call him Akbar the Great. So it is very important we learn from history. It is very important that you have wise friends, those who can give you good advice. Okay? So this young boy had very good advisors, and they knew that to rule in a country where we have more than 80% Hindu people, we should win the heart of the locals. So he translated all the religious books in different languages. He got it translated. He didn't do it. He never went to any school since he was a young boy and he became the king. And then later on, when he was a young prince, they advised him to get married to the Jaipur family. And that is why deliberately he married the princess of Jaipur family. So what happened was, the mighty army of the Hindu warriors, all the Singhs, they became his immediate relatives, and they became loyal to the Mughal Empire, and the brother-in-law was the commander-in-chief of the Mughal army. So after 1566, they laid down the map of India, what you see today. Otherwise, everything was divided into small countries. So they declared the kings could rule independently in their respective country and pay the taxes annually, quarterly or half-yearly, and they wouldn't be attacked. Those who would not pay the taxes, those kings would be attacked. So everybody agreed to it because they had superior artillery of the Mughals and the Hindu warrior Rajput, the cavalry. So that is how his territory went down up to Sri Lanka, which is known as Ceylon in those days, Myanmar in Burma, a little part of Mongolia in the south. Now these Mongol kings are related to the Mongolian king, Genghis Khan. Have you heard the name? Yeah. Genghis Khan, the grandmother were real sisters. The grandmother of the Mughals and the grandmother of Genghis Khan were real sisters. So that is why this was a fighting race. But the third Mughal emperor, he said that I'm going to respect all the religion, and he kind of declared India as a secular state, that everybody is free to practice the religion of his faith and belief. His wife, Akbar. His wife never changed her religion. She always remained Hindu. She gave birth to the first boy who became the next king, whose name was Jahangir. So this palace, the rooms were added from Akbar. It was started by the Lodi dynasty, but Akbar started constructing, the first Mughal emperor who did here. In the order, he was the third. By first Mughal emperor, I'm to say, the first one who built this palace. Then his son Jahangir added, and then Shah Jahan added, and then Aurangzeb added. So 4 kings have added the rooms altogether. So from 1526 till 1857, the construction of this palace is done. So the wall all around in radius is 8 kilometers. So what we are going to see is the palatial part, right? The other part is with the Indian military. Now if you see this entrance, there was a drawbridge at the entrance. So during the war time, or whenever they felt the threat, they would pull the chain and there would be a river moat in between. They would fill the water from the river Yamuna.
A dry moat in between the 2 walls and the water moat outside the first wall. That's the time of the construction of the fort and the Taj. There was no road in between. This was all the side of the river. The water used to come almost to the side of the water moat here. Look at where the people are doing the laundry, right in the corner of the bridge. They give you laundry